Anybody out there ever make a watch purchase mistake? I know I have a few times, maybe jumped the gun before getting all the information on a watch, bought into the hype, and this has just happened to me again. Thankfully, this time it's been fairly easy on the pocketbook and it might benefit you. The watch we're talking about is the new smaller version of the Casio Marlin, but can you really call this a Marlin? Let's check it out. All right. Now, I bought the new smaller Casio Marlin slash Duro. I saw that it was supposed to be a 38.5 millimeter watch. That's what Casio and most other sites had it listed for, and thought, let's give it a try. Figured it would be a hit with the watch community. People have been asking for a smaller Marlin since I've had this channel, but they took this from being a Marlin to a minnow. It is quite a bit smaller than the listed size. At the same time, I also picked up the full size. There you can get a good idea on the difference, both Batman versions of the watch. And the reason, other than this video and the fact that I'm a big fan of the Marlin, is these are going to be part of a giveaway that's coming soon. So it's not just about the size here that's the problem. There is some other issues with the watch, at least compared to the full size. What was always great about the Marlin is the fact that it was and is a legitimately good watch. I've had a few of these, but I'll never forget when I got my first. It was maybe $25, but seeing and experiencing it for the first time, I was blown away by what you got for the cost. Prices are up on these now, but even getting this, I think it was around 50-ish USD on sale on Amazon. It still felt like a bargain. The supposed 38.5 millimeter version of the watch here did not get that same feeling, and it was about 15 or 20 US more. Before we get to the differences between the two, let's talk about some of the similarities. Both of these have just about identical dial configurations, a couple of differences, but the markers and hands seem to be about the same proportions. I've always found the hands to be a bit short on the regular Marlin, and same goes for the Minnow here, the smaller one. Both of these have the blue second hand too. The biggest difference is one, the marker by the date at 3 is missing on the smaller, and same goes for the Marlin logo, which to be fair is missing on the newer full-size Marlins too. The loom was never really a strong suit for the Marlin, and I'd say it's nearly a tie. I think the smaller has a bit of a lead there, but it's readable and gets a pass for me for the price. But I'm a more loom the better kind of guy, so these could definitely stand a little more loom. The bezels are pretty well the same when it comes to the looks department, other than size, but they respond completely different in hand. The larger has a 120 click bezel, very little to no play, and I really like the feel and sound. The smaller feels way different. First of all, it is a 60 click bezel. Very sloppy play. Yes, it's a cheaper watch, but so is this over here. And it's things like decent bezel action on the original, more than decent, quite good actually, that made it such a great watch. The cases are also very similar, about the same level of finish, but the Minnow, sorry, I don't even know what else to call it now, but it has a snap-on case back and screw down on the Marlin. Part of the reason why this gets a 50-meter water resistance and 200 meters on the watch here on the right. Speaking of water resistance, the crown is also push-pull on the smaller versus the older big brother with a screw-down crown. The straps are about the quality you'd expect if you've never experienced these watches. Even the NATO here is okay quality-wise, but swapping straps on watches is part of the fun anyways. For me, though, the strap is way too thin for my wrist size. Lug opening is only 16 millimeters. I'll actually hit you with the measurements on both, but even though Casio has this listed at 38.5 millimeters, it's not. It's pretty well exactly 36 millimeters in case width, 41 millimeters lug to lug, and the thickness is 10.7 millimeters. So, yeah, it's small for me, especially for a diver. And by the way, if you can try to confirm Casio's measurements, I've had a couple of edifices that were way off too. This one here, we're looking at a case width of 44 millimeters, 49.3 millimeters lug to lug. The lug opening is 22 millimeters, and the thickness is 12.3 millimeters. I'm cool with the size of this, but if they could have done this with a case width of actually 38.5 or between that and 40 and keep the same water resistance, screw down crown and case back, and the bezel too, this would sell like crazy. Hopefully, they take another stab at it sometime again soon. And here is the 36 millimeter on wrist. And yeah, the size is one thing, but it's the combination of everything else that is disappointing to me. Even at this size with the same spec, I'd be okay, but it just does not stack up against the 44 millimeter. That being said, this could be a great way to get a younger person into watches. My twin 14-year-old nephews are already all decked out with watches for me, but this would be perfect for someone like them. Coming soon on the channel, I have a giveaway happening. Other than these two, there might be another watch, maybe even two that'll be part of it. Putting that together over the next week or so. So if you're new to the channel, subscribe so you don't miss it. And let me know what you think of these watches in the comments below. Thanks for taking a few minutes to stop by, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.